Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor episode number 181 based on novel. So let's start. Chinga, is it really you? This is not an illusion. I didn't expect to see you in my lifetime, it's really nice. Ling Mengsheng had completely forgotten that he was still in the battle. In an instant, it was gone. A wry smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and the figure standing in the waterfall in front of him was the person he was thinking about. Do not want. Xian Muqing was extremely shocked at this time. Although he didn't know why Ling Mengsheng appeared in his heart, the next moment he saw a ghostly figure swept away at Ling Mengsheng, and the terrifying fluctuations appeared on it, even if it was a ghostly figure. I couldn't handle it. I immediately suppressed the longing in my body, the speed skyrocketed, and I wanted to do something. It's too late to stop. At this time, Shen heard the princess's words and wanted to stop, but he couldn't do it, and then the terrifying attack directly hit Ling Mengsheng. Moreover, he was still stuck in a sluggish Rimu body without any defenses. A mouthful of blood spewed out directly from Rimu Sheng's mouth, and after being hit by this attack, Rimu Sheng's breath also weakened a bit. Why are you so stupid? The next moment, a beautiful figure came directly to Ling Mengsheng's side, and then his jade hand slowly hugged Ling Mengsheng. I isn't dreaming. Ling Mengsheng said in disbelief when he heard the familiar voice, but the pain in his body and the warmth from the figure in front of him made Ling Mengsheng feel unbelievable. Cannot help but surprised. These years. Thanks a lot. Dream. On Xian Muqing's pale face, bursts of ecstasy emerged, but after a while, it turned into guilt. Chinga. Where have you been all these years? I found it very hard. Ling Mengsheng's majestic body couldn't help shaking, to prove that it was real and not illusory. At this time, Shen Mu looked like he was hesitant to say anything. Sure enough. Not long after, Fen Tian and his party also came here, and immediately saw Xian Muqing hug Ling Mengsheng, and immediately let out a gratified smile. But why does Xian Muqing have a very strange aura? Fen Tianren, who is he, naturally knew the difference in Xian Muqing's body at first glance, and immediately opened his mouth. Well, it seems to have the smell of an alien race. At this time, Zhu Jin couldn't help but say, Zhu Jin, you fart. You can eat rice indiscriminately, but you can't talk nonsense. When Ling Mengsheng heard this, he immediately scolded. I managed to find my wife with great difficulty. Why is this bamboo ember? But the next moment, Zhu Jin's words also reached Xian Muqing's ears slightly. Dream, what Master Zhu Jin said is right, I do. Xian Muqing pretended to be calm and then stared at Ling Mengsheng stubbornly. She knew that this matter could not be concealed, and sooner or later Rimu Sheng would know about it. How could it be possible? At this time, Ling Mengsheng's body shook for a while, and then he looked at Xian Muqing in disbelief. Ling Mengsheng, this damned guy, his strength has soared to the peak of Dodi. It seems that our mission is going to fail this time. Xian Yin said to his younger brother Xian Yang. Big brother, no matter what, Princess Xian cannot let Ling Mengsheng take her away. And with Ling Mengsheng's character, if he really knows what's in the princess's body, I'm afraid there will be consequences. Xian Yang said with a very gloomy expression. That thing wasn't what the princess wanted. It can only be said that the evil race from outside the territory invaded, and the princess was unfortunate. Xian Yin said something, and then the two of them stared at Swan Muqing and Ling Mengsheng. Moreover, Xian Yin found that not far from the two of them, the team of up to 5 people seemed to be extremely powerful. Mengsheng. At this time, Fen Tian flashed a figure, and then came to Ling Mengsheng's side. Fen Tian knew very well about Ling Mengsheng. Ling Mengsheng's biological parents died at the hands of the Foreign Evil clan, so Ling Mengsheng's hatred for the Foreign Evil clan is extremely deep. Pavilion Master, Ling Mengsheng had a hint of pain in his mind, then he closed his eyes and whispered softly to Fen Tian. Muching, in fact, Mengsheng has been in all these years. For this kind of thing, Fen Tian was naturally a must for Ling Mengsheng to come out on his own, so he couldn't help speaking immediately. Senior, I know, I just want to know if my 2 daughters are okay. I won't force him. When Xian Muqing said these words, the pain was like a knife twisting, but he couldn't show it. I'm afraid no one can understand that grief. Is Rimu Sheng that kind of person? Chinga, welcome home. After a while, Ling Mengsheng's pupils flashed a hint of determination, and then the hesitant expression disappeared, replaced by a touch of ecstasy, directly hugging Xuan Muqing. You. At this moment, even Xian Muqing, who had always been stubborn, couldn't help the corners of his eyes sour. When he was together with Ling Mengsheng, Xian Muqing knew how powerful his hostility towards the aliens was, even to the point of deep in his bones, so he was eroded into the body by the aliens when he gave birth, so he didn't dare to tell Rimu. I only faked the appearance of death when I was born, otherwise once I let Ling Mengsheng know, I'm afraid my end will be. But fortunately, Xian Muqing did not see the wrong person. Xian Muqing heard the words, only the last trace of pride left indifferent, turned into a tearful man, and poured directly into Ling Mengsheng's chest. Scared me. I thought, you. Xian Muqing said intermittently while crying. Extraterritorial evil races are hateful, but now I have 2 daughters and their mothers, other things are not important. Ling Mengsheng smiled slowly, his voice full of satisfaction. This kid. Zhu Jin and his party immediately smiled with relief when they heard the words. The news of Xian Muqing's death back then brought a nightmare to Ling Mengsheng. If it wasn't for the fact that he still had 2 daughters to raise, he would have died of love in the first place. What's the matter with the alien aura in your body? After Xian Muqing's mood stabilized, Ling Mengsheng slowly stood up and said while supporting the pale Xian Muqing. When Xian Muqing heard the words, he smiled lightly, and then gently moved the bangs that covered his parents, and immediately a bloodstain appeared in front of everyone. 4th level blood curse? Fen Tian saw the evil bloodstain for the first time, and suddenly said, and his expression was also alert. Fighting immortal powerhouse? Feeling the strength of Fen Tian's sudden explosion, Shenyan and the 2 flickered away. They knew that the matter here was beyond the scope of their happiness, so they could only report to Shenling King. After a while, with the disappearance of the 2 Shenyan brothers, the mysterious blood spell on Xian Muqing's forehead became more and more bright red. Pavilion Master, blood curse? What is this? At this time, Mu Shuzi and his group stepped forward, and then Mu Shuzi asked. The group of people who came to the underground palace this time, except Mu Shuzi who has been in the Funxiang Pavilion for a long time, the other powerhouses are the powerhouses of the evil clan outside the Handblade domain. Blood curse, this is a common method used by evil races outside the territory. The blood curse can provide a huge amount of power to human beings, but as a price, every time this evil power is used, it is at the cost of overdrafting life and even soul. After a certain number of uses, it will completely become a killing machine of foreign evil races. Zhu Jin stared at the blood curse above Xian Muqing's forehead and said, Chinga, how did you get this blood curse? Based on Ling Mengsheng's understanding of Zhuan Muqing would definitely not do such a thing, and immediately asked in a low voice. I don't even know about this thing. I gave birth to Lingxian in Shenling City, but from the moment I gave birth to Lingxian, I discovered that something was lurking into my body, and at that time, this thing appeared on my forehead. The reason why I didn't go to you all these years is because of this blood curse. This thing is extremely evil. It once tried to control me, but fortunately it has the amulet you gave me, so it didn't succeed. Xian Muqing, open your mouth slightly. It seems that this Shenling city has entered into the details of the evil race from outside the territory. Fen Tian said suddenly. Pavilion Master, is there a way to solve this? Ling Mengsheng asked Fen Tian as if asking for help. Blood spells are divided into grades 1 to 7. If the highest level is grade 6 or grade 7, I have no choice. But for the 4th level blood curse, it's not impossible. It's just that I might be aggrieved and turn my eyes away. Fen Tian made a deep voice for a while before slowly opening his mouth. Pavilion Master, wouldn't it be safe for her life? Ling Mengsheng was still afraid. Although he was extremely disgusted by the blood curse in Xian Muqing's body, he didn't want her to take risks. No way, it's just some pain in the flesh. And the blood curse must be dealt with in advance, otherwise it will accumulate in the body over time, and the harm will be very big. Fen Tian said. Dream, don't worry. For the sake of our 2 children, I can hold on. How could Xian Muqing not know Ling Mengsheng's worries, and immediately said. Pavilion Master, what do we need to do? Ling Mengsheng suddenly became vigilant upon hearing this. Muqing, urge the blood curse in your body, leave the rest to us. Fen Tian also thought for a while, and then spoke directly. Okay. Xian Muqing's face was pale at this time, and the demon blood curse on his forehead also exuded an evil aura. Blood curse. Xian Muqing said in a low voice, and then the power of the blood curse instantly emerged, filling Xian Muqing's body, and even the power skyrocketed. Holy flame. At this time, Fen Tian went directly to flash a fiery red flame. Compared with the real holy flame, this flame is naturally a lot weaker, but as a holy flame, its power is not comparable to ordinary flames. Pavilion Master, this flame is really becoming more and more proficient. The two elders took a slow look, and then said. They naturally knew about Fen Tian's relationship with Yang Kai at the beginning, so they were not too surprised that Fen Tian had Saint Yanzi fire. Shen God. Shut up. Concentrate. I will use holy flame to enter your body to expel the blood curse. Fen Tian's eyes narrowed and he said directly. I can do it. Xian Muqing felt Ling Mengsheng's worry, and said a word directly to him, then got out of his embrace, and did as Fen Tian said. Fire. Go in. Fen Tian was shocked when he saw this, and then he directly controlled the power of Saint Yanzi's fire, leaning into Xian Mu's body and leaving. Boom boom boom. The Shenyang Zihua controlled by Fen Tian had just entered Xian Muqing's body, and suddenly Xian Muqing was full of blood-red evil power. After the blood-red evil power met Shenyang, it was as if it seems that he is extremely afraid of this holy flame. Sure enough. Ling Mengsheng was overjoyed when he saw this, but at this moment Xian Muqing's face became even paler, and the sweat kept emerging, which was quite heart-wrenching. Get out. At the next moment, Fen Tian's powerful aura burst out suddenly. Immediately, the fourth-level blood curse that entangled Xian Muqing, directly under the two powers of Fen Tian's extremely strong strength and Shenyang Zihua's power, instantly popped out. Are you alright? As Fen Tian withdrew his hand, Ling Meng gave birth to a flicker and took his breath directly, with doting eyes in his eyes. That thing. Finally expelled. At this moment, although Xian Muqing was extremely weak, the happy appearance on that pretty face was quite enviable. Where to run? Seeing this, Zhu Jin, the fourth-level blood curse that left Xian Muqing's body, was directly exposed under the waterfall, and just after it appeared, he was about to run away, and then burst into a shout Su Siv. The fourth-level blood curse was directly expelled by Fen Tian from the hospital's body, and at this time, the fourth-level blood curse turned into a blood-red light and appeared in front of everyone. After Fen Tian expelled the blood curse, he didn't make a move. After all, the movement just now was not small. If he made a move, it would probably disturb the powerhouses of the Xianling royal family, and Zhu Jin and his party were needed. Naturally, there was no need to worry. Destroy me. At this moment, in Zhu Jin's hands, the dazzling power of life and death appeared instantly, the power of life and death appeared, and the flow of the waterfall suddenly became extremely slow. Immediately, without any hesitation, the figure swept away and suddenly slapped on the light of the blood curse. Boom boom boom. The power of life and death contains a huge power of destruction, and the power of the blood curse is now separated from Xian Muqing. It's resolved. Zhu Jin sent out several attacks in a row, directly destroying the seemingly terrifying fourth-class blood curse, and then said something to Fen Tian. Old man Zhu, thank you. At this time, Ling Mengsheng said something to Zhu Jin. You can also say thank you. Zhu Jin heard this and grinned. Let's go to the 5th floor first, time is running out. Fen Tian said, and then everyone didn't stay, and went directly to the 5th floor of the underground palace. It's just that, with the fact that Fen Tian had just released his strength to fight immortals, the 4th-class blood curse was destroyed. In addition to the news of Shenyan and Shenyang, the whereabouts of Fenshen and his party seemed to be exposed, but they were completely silent. I don't know. Someone entered the underground palace. In the palace of the Xianling royal family, the two figures of Shenyan and Shenyang appeared here, and the two respectfully said to the man in the golden robe in front of them. The golden-robed man exuded a strange aura all over his body, and his exclaimed voice reverberated throughout the palace. He was the Xianling king. Who is it? After a while, King Xianling asked, but he was extremely surprised. Outside the underground palace, the defenses are strong, but if someone breaks in, why would no one report it to you? And if the gods entered without knowing it, I am afraid that the strength of those people can be imagined. Others don't know, but we clearly remember that among the 7, the weakest person is about the same as me, and even some are stronger than you, my king. Xian Yang said tremblingly. When he thought that among the 7-member team, there was someone who was more terrifying than King Xianling, Xian Yang couldn't help but click his tongue. 7 people? The weakest one is about the same as you. 7 strong men who have at least stepped into the 9-rank 9-star Do D. Xianling King kept thinking about it. Obviously, the only one who can take this kind of battle now is the super sect of Xian Santian. By the way, Ling Mengsheng, the master of the Funxiang Pavilion's ground hall, is also among them. Xianyin said suddenly. What? This bastard. The next moment, King Xianling heard the words and immediately scolded, but the anger in his words could no longer be suppressed. King Xianling also knew that Ling Mengsheng hated the evil people from outside the realm, so for the safety of his sister, he did a little trick to deceive Ling Mengsheng. With Rimu's temper, I'm afraid. What happened to Muqing? King Shenling asked. Princess Swan Muqing was found by Ling Mengsheng and his party. Shen Yan said. Immediately. Go to the underground palace immediately. Let's go. King Shenling heard the words, and there was a hint of chill in his eyes. Zwan Muqing was one of the few factions that supported him, and he was also his cousin, so it was impossible for King Shenling to let her have an accident. My king, Ling Mengsheng has indeed found the princess, but it's not as you imagined. Shen Yan seemed to see the seriousness of the matter and spoke instantly. What's the explanation for this? King Shenling asked with a frown. My subordinates can tell that Ling Mengsheng really loves Princess Swan Muqing, so. Shen Yan said. Also, it seems that the purpose of this trip is not just to rescue Princess Swan Muqing. After they rescued Princess Swan Muqing, they continue to go to the 5th floor of the underground palace. Shen Yan said. Shen Yan and Shen Yang are of course the guardians of the 4th floor of the underground palace, but in the underground palace, each floor is clearly guarded, and even they don't know what else is below. Oh! At this moment, King Xuanling's eyes moved quickly, thinking about something. The 5th floor of the underground palace, where is the place where the strong blood demons live, these 7 people should be the people of the burning incense pavilion. If they discover the remaining power of the blood demons, I am afraid they will be destroyed at all costs. But just. You guys, go down and rest first. Stay ready to fight at any time. King Shenling said. Yes. Shen Yan and the two agreed, and then slowly retreated. With the departure of the two, only King Shenling remained in the palace. Come out. King Shenling sat on the golden dragon chair and said slightly. After a while, a faint blood-red aura appeared in King Xuanling's body, and the blood-red aura was extremely evil, like an evil race from outside the realm. King Shenling, it seems that the people in Burning Incense Pavilion can't sit still anymore. I am afraid that they are going to the underground palace this time for Yankai. The blood-red aura was a trace of the source power of the Gorfiend, the strongest of the Gorfians. Haha, it's okay. It just so happens that the old immortal coveted Saint Flame and the ancestor of the mysterious spirit who was sealed by Medusa's petrified pupil for a long time. Now I can use the people from the Burning Incense Pavilion to weaken the power of the old immortal. If the kill can be completed. King Xuanling's eerie voice smiled slowly. It's really a tiger's father without a dog's son. Gorfian's source power said something, and then opened his mouth. Gore demon, when will your body come to the Shenling continent? King Shenling asked as if he had remembered something. This is a bit difficult. Above the Shenling continent, the exclusion for me is too great. Even if the main body comes, it will be suppressed by the Shenling continent's extremely powerful, and the strength is at the peak of the Emperor Do. The blood demon said the source of power. In this case, you'd better go to the 5th floor of the underground palace and put away your children, otherwise it will affect the plan behind us. King Shenling glanced at the blood demon and then said. That's what I mean. The Gorfiend didn't want to talk nonsense with King Shenling, and swept away directly at a space behind the dragon chair, where it was the passage leading to the underground palace. Solomon should have something to do with a certain ghost in the ghost world, so that's why. As for the Soul Clan, this strength is too mysterious, so it's better to be careful. But the ghost world is a very variable factor. And the Gorfians. When Shen Muqing gave birth, you invaded her body without authorization. My King Shenling will settle this account with you sooner or later. Blood demon, do you just think that my King Shenling is a fool? Your condition is 2/3 of the entire Shenling continent, but as long as your body can't come here, wait for me to rule Shentian 3 days with the help of your extraterritorial evil people's power, then. Ha ha ha. In the empty palace where there was only King Shenling laughed madly, and the voice was full of madness. What about the people who are addicted to the Dragon Legion? In the deepest part of the underground palace, Elder Shen asked Wenzi. Old Shen, the people from the dragon-loving legion were sent by King Shenling to fight for the battle core, and they haven't returned yet. Wenzi said slowly. Wenzi was naturally a chess piece sent by Shenling King to pay attention to Shen Laro's changes. He didn't know what benefits Shenling King promised Wenzi that he could make Wenzi so obedient. This pervert. Elder Shen couldn't help cursing after hearing this. Old Shen, calm down, your body is important, Wenzi said. Go back and tell him. If anything happens this time, the old man will definitely show him a good look. Elder Shen left a sentence, and then drove Wenzi out. And as Wenzi left, in the deepest part of the underground palace, Elder Shen said to himself, the eyelids have been twitching recently, I don't know if it's a great blessing or a great omen. Old man, wait slowly, I believe you will succeed. In another void, the Dark Knight ghost said slowly. On the second floor of the underground palace, looking back to see the situation of Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying. Since the two of them left the second floor of the underground palace, they walked towards the bottom of the underground palace. Due to the complicated terrain of the underground palace, they lost a lot of energy to find the entrance to the third floor of the underground palace. The entrance to the third floor of the underground palace is clearly a stone wall, but entering the periphery of the stone wall is obviously surrounded by some mysterious power. What a powerful restriction. After Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying left the second floor of the underground palace at the same time, they came to the entrance of the third floor of the underground palace, and then stared at the huge formation outside the stone wall in front of him. Xiao Yang spoke slowly. From this formation, Xiao Yang seemed to realize something, and there was an aura that was familiar to him. Xiao Yang, quit. The powerhouses below are too strong, so this is not where you should come. Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, a phantom appeared in front of the two of them. This phantom was left behind by Zhu Jin. How would Xiao Yang know that this formation was set up by his master Zhu Jin? No wonder he felt familiar. No, I have to go down. My brother's breath is right down there. I think this is the last chance, and I don't want to miss it. Mu Yingying said with a serious face, with an extremely rare firmness on her pretty face. Your brother. Is it Yang Kai? Suddenly, seeing Mu Yingying's appearance like this, Xiao Yang had a bold guess in his heart. Flaming? Who is that? My brother is not Yang Kai. Mu Yingying was taken aback by Xiao Yang's sudden question, and she immediately refused. Isn't it? Xiao Yang slowly shook his head. Mu Yingying has the power of holy flame in her body, and Yang Kai in the deepest part of the underground palace also possesses holy flame, which is easy to associate with. In addition, due to the mutual attraction among the holy flames, when entering the fairy moon ruins, Zhu Jin once borrowed the source of holy flames from himself. I think it is also related to the plan to save Yang Kai, but I don't know how things are going now. How's it going? But one thing is certain, Zhu Jin must be in the underground palace at this time, otherwise there will be no formation left by Zhu Jin on the third floor of the underground palace. Can this formation be broken? After some investigation, Mu Yingying found that she could not break the formation in front of her, and immediately asked for help. I'll try it. Seeing Mu Yingying's unexpected stalemate, Xiao Yang didn't want to delay, and Xiao Yang understood this kind of longing for the separation of relatives. After a while, the formation blocking the road was broken by Xiao Yang. This formation came from Zhu Jin's hand. Although it was powerful, Zhu Jin still underestimated Xiao Yang's strength. Moreover, Xiao Yang was very smart and deliberately set up a blinding technique for the formation, so even Zhu Jin did not sense that the formation he had set was broken. It's done. Xiao Yang clapped his hands and said softly, Xiao Yang, let me ask you a question. Mu Yingying suddenly spoke out of a whim while watching Xiao Yang solve the formation. What's the problem? Xiao Yang turned around and asked. If many people want to kill me in the future, but you can't beat me, what will you do? Mu Yingying opened her mouth softly, her clear pupils wide open, looking forward to Xiao Yang's answer. If there is such a day, then ask them to crush my soul. Because, we are companions. Xiao Yang glanced at the space behind the formation, and then responded to Mu Yingying. It's just that Xiao Yang didn't know that this seemingly simple sentence actually became his last life-saving talisman in the future. Thank you, I understand. Mu Yingying was shocked by Xiao Yang's words, but she naturally didn't care about Xiao Yang's companion. Mu Yingying is very sensitive to her own identity. In fact, Mu Yingying wanted to explain it to Xiao Yang for a long time, but every time she spoke, she stopped because Mu Yingying was also afraid that Xiao Yang was the only one with Xiao Yang. The appearance that the holy flame spirit in his body said. It's not obvious enough. Xiao Yang's answer just now gave Mu Yingying a clear answer in her heart. Ever since he participated in the points plundering competition and met Xiao Yang, it seems that he has also experienced many beautiful things about human beings. But now is obviously not the time to think about these things. Mu Yingying was thinking about her brother. Let's go. Mu Yingying's face was extremely gloomy. She said something, and then walked straight away. It seems that Mu Yingying is determined to go down. Just in case, let's call Xiaoyi over. Xiao Yang said a word in his heart, and then sent a perception directly to Xiaoyi. Mu Yingying's trance did not take her too seriously. In the burning incense pavilion, which is far away, Xiaoyi felt this information and suddenly woke up from her practice. Big brother called me. It seems that I have encountered some difficulties. As soon as he finished speaking, he didn't have time to think, so he went straight to the underground palace. Naturally, the two of Xiao Yang went all the way without hindrance, directly following the road that Fen Tian and the others had opened, heading towards the bottom of the underground palace. The fifth floor of the underground palace. This darkness is dark, surrounded by gloomy evil all day long. And here is a huge cave. The cave is bumpy and bumpy, but on the rock, a series of evil things of different shapes are slowly inhabiting. At the bottom of the rock and on the top of the rock, a stream of blood emerged. Obviously, the blood of many strong human beings gathered here. For them, it is a rare treasure. Get up. After a while, a blood-red light came to here in an instant. Lord Gorefiend. The blood-red light just appeared, and immediately roared at the cave, and those creatures who were awakened by the roar suddenly looked at the blood-red figure in front of them in surprise. Sir, what's the matter? Some of the powerful creatures couldn't help but speak. There are strong human beings approaching here, we have to cover up and evacuate. The blood demon said directly. Although the blood demon envoy is the strongest of their blood demon clan, the aura in this cave is extremely strong, and it was specially created by the Shenling King. If they are allowed to leave here, I am afraid there will be some reluctant. Stop talking nonsense, let's go. Otherwise, when the powerful human beings arrive, all of you will have to die. After the Gorefiend finished speaking, the power of the source disappeared, and immediately left a void where it disappeared, apparently for the escape of these children. What should I do now? Seeing this, the powerhouses of the Gorefiend couldn't help but look at each other. Let's go. After a while, I don't know who said a word, and immediately rushed into the void and disappeared without a trace. Unlucky. In such a good place, if you let me live for 10 years, I'm afraid my strength will break through to the 9-star Do Emperor. In another year, I will be able to break through the 8-star Do Di. The intermittent voices continued to sound, but no matter how reluctant they were, they all left here. At that time, the huge cave on the 5th floor of the underground palace suddenly became empty, extremely desolate. After the 4th floor of the underground palace was cracked, Zhu Jin discovered for the first time that the two guardians guarding the 4th floor had disappeared. The two guys who just left, these two have guarded me all these years. One turn, the 9-star Do Di Shenyan and the 8-star Do Ds complete Shenyang. Although Shen Muqing was still weak, after the blood curse was completely expelled, he was much better. Is the 9-star Do Emperor and the 8-star Do Emperor a complete success? The strength behind this Shenling King is really not to be underestimated. Fen Tian smiled slowly when he heard the words. Let's go, the 5th floor of the underground palace. Ling Mengsheng seemed extremely happy, and leaned towards the 5th floor of the underground palace with Shen Mu in his arms. Don't be like this, there are so many people. Seeing Ling Mengsheng's lack of euphemism, Xuanmu's face turned slightly red. He immediately got up, broke free from his embrace, and said coquettishly, "Hee hee." Rimu seemed to realize something, and grinned. The 5th floor of the underground palace seems to be different. Fen Tian and his group laughed slowly, and then said to the 5th floor of the underground palace below, "Senior, I don't know what is on the 5th floor of the underground palace. However, since the establishment of the 5th floor of the underground palace, it seems that only King Shenling has entered." Shen Muqing opened his mouth slightly, but Shen Muqing still hid the fact that he was King Xuanling's younger sister. It is said that King Shenling was also an emperor who loved his people like a son, but I don't know why, after the establishment of the underground palace, King Shenling has undergone earth-shaking changes. Xuanmu Qingju said. As Shen Muqing's voice just fell, all the strong people looked at Shen Muqing in surprise. Among them, the most spiritual dreamer was surprised. Ling Mengsheng remembered Shen Muqing's prominent family background. It is said that it was before he met him. Shen Muqing met him when he was slaughtered, and immediately made a private life with himself, so from beginning to end, Ling Mengsheng didn't know Shen Muqing's true identity. How do you know? Now it was Zhu Jin's turn to be surprised. Naturally, everyone had never doubted Shen Muqing's identity, but even Fen Tian didn't know about these things. How could Shen Muqing know? What the two guardians said. Shen Muqing said with a playful smile. That's it. Many strong people naturally believed. It seems that there should be some hidden secrets on the 5th floor of this underground palace. Fen Tian said slowly. Furthermore, in the 5th floor of the underground palace, there seems to be similarities with the blood curse that has just been expelled. Shen Mu said in a stern voice. Let's go. As Shen Muqing's voice just fell, a group of strong men walked directly towards the 5th floor of the underground palace. Leaving the 4th floor of the underground palace, continuing to walk down the stairs, towards the 5th floor of the underground palace. The passage here is getting darker and more humid. The old man couldn't help but said. This place should already be thousands of meters away from the ground, so this situation is extremely normal. Mu Shuzi laughed. Where is the entrance? At this time, the old man of heaven and earth pointed to a place in front of him sleepily and said. As soon as the voice fell, everyone turned into a meteor and swept away. Everyone swept across the passage, and then came to the 5th floor of the underground palace with great ease. It's just that after arriving on the 5th floor of the underground palace, everyone's faces became ugly. Damn, what the is this King Xianling doing? It's so bloody, I'm afraid it will take the blood of hundreds of strong people to form it. The old man stood on a rock covered with bloodstains, and the stench came from his nostrils, and then his face was a little difficult. He looked up and said. Everyone came to the 5th floor through the passage, and immediately found that the 5th floor was an incomparably huge cave. In this cave, there are many large and small passages, even extending in all directions, and the rocks have already been corroded by blood and full of blood, and even in some rock crevices, there is still tiny blood. With such blood, with the perception of young and old, it is not difficult to find that it is all human blood. Be careful. At this time, Ling Mengsheng directly put his profound eyes behind him, and then looked around vigilantly. How so? How can it be? Brother, what the is he doing? At this moment, Xian Muqing felt extremely shocked, obviously not knowing what his brother Xianling King was doing. Since he was invaded by a foreign evil race when he gave birth, since then, his brother's personality has changed greatly, so what Xian Muqing just said is not without reason. It does have the smell of blood demons here. Fen Tian, on the other hand, was slowly trying to figure it out, obviously staring at the blood cave paved with human blood, and there were some unknown secrets. But there shouldn't be any blood demon aura here. I'm afraid it has already escaped. After a while, Fen Tian shook his head and said. With the strength of the burning heaven Do immortal, it is natural to sense that although this blood-colored cave is very large, there is no sign of any creatures at all. The Gorfians are the world enemies of our Xianling continent. When they tried to erode our Xianling continent, they were fought by many powerful people in our Shentian days, and the Gorfian Zhuowei, the second strongest of the Gorfians, was also suppressed in the desert mountain range has been completely obliterated by Xiao Yang when he obtained the holy flame. But even so, there are still many remnants of the Gorfians. The 5th floor of this underground palace is probably where they live. Zhu Jin also frowned and said. The Xianling royal family has a relationship with Solomon and even the Soul clan. We naturally know this, but when did the Xianling royal family have a relationship with the Gorfians? The 5th floor of the underground palace is clearly a tailor-made habitat for the evil clan. If you want to say that the Xianling royal family has nothing to do with the Blood Demon clan, then no one believes it. Qing Lao, also open your mouth. It seems that the plan to save Yang Kai this time is not that simple. Fen Tian suddenly thought of something and said. Pavilion Master. Zhu Jin and his party heard the words and spoke slowly. I've made up my mind, so there's no need to persuade me. Since the matter has come to this point, we must continue to move forward, but we must prepare for the worst. If our plan fails, we must save our strength for Funxiang Pavilion anyway. Fen Tian spoke slowly. But, just when everyone was about to speak at Du, Fen Tian suddenly shook his head. They all know that the extraterritorial evil clan is powerful, and the Xianling royal family is also extremely powerful. If these two forces collude, I am afraid it will bring endless trouble, and even if they are as powerful as Burning Heaven, they are somewhat afraid. Let's go, time waits for no one, the 6th floor of the underground palace. Where should we save the last stage of Yang Kai? After Fen Tian finished speaking, he didn't stop, and went straight to the next floor. And Xuanmu prayed secretly in his heart, hoping that his brother would not collude with the evil clan outside the territory, otherwise, in the end, King Xianling would end up. This video will end here.